Well, hello and welcome to the first ever Digimon TCG 4-way Battle Royale. If you thought that the Digimon TCG can only be played by 2 players at the same time, let me break that misconception by showcasing this stunning work of mental engineering we've cooked up that allows any number of players to play at the same time as long as you have room on the table. And the rules are simple. The basic rules of the game stay the same. Any memory gain effects outside of your turn goes to the next player in line, and you work out between yourselves which effects constitute the entire field and which just the attacking player and the player being attacked. And for this exciting exhibition I'm joined of course by Stanislav, and Vladislav. And now let me give you a quick rundown of the decks we'll be playing. We have Stanislav on a red kinda OTK deck, focusing on War Greymon and Shine Greymon from the starter decks, Stanislav on a blue Evolution Sources strip deck, Vladislav on a green Piercing and Battle focused deck, and me on a Lilithmon Loop kinda deck, but without Mega Digimon Fusion, because it's gonna get banned anyway, so might as well try playing without it. And you may also notice that we're not playing any archetype-centric decks, and that is because we don't really buy singles. So our card pool is limited to the stuff we got from 2 boxes of Special Release Booster 1.0, 1 box of Special Release Booster 1.5, 1 box of BT4 and BT5 each, 2 boxes of BT6, 1 box of EX1, and 2 boxes of every starter deck, except the black one, because we're racist like that.
It's a joke.
And with that being said, let's hop into the game and see what's been going on. Vladislav won the die roll, so he started us off by evolving his Freemon into Palmon, and then evolving it into Stingmon, passing the turn over to me with 1 memory. I had a pretty good hand, so I was able to evolve my Demi-Meramon into a Gabumon, and playing the purple matte memory tamer, which is pretty much the optimal first move in my opinion. And I passed the turn to Stanislav with 3 memory. And he didn't draw any level 3s, so right off the bat he uses his red memory boost to try to fish some out of his deck. But unfortunately he didn't reveal any, so he just takes the Monochromon into his hand and put the rest at the bottom of his deck. And then he finished his turn by playing a Greymon for 4 cost, passing the memory over to Stanislav. And since there's gonna be a glare on some cards so you won't really be able to see them, I'm just gonna put a proxy image over them so you know which card it is. Next, Stanislav also fires up a memory boost, and from the 4 revealed cards he takes a Paildramon to his hand. And he follows it up by evolving his Kiaramon into a Gabumon, and then he also plays 1 from the hand, which allows him to draw a card. And he passes the turn back to Vladislav with 2 memory. Vladislav then promotes his Stingmon into the battle area, evolves him into Cherrymon for 2 memory, and then evolves Cherrymon into Ancient Troymon, passing the turn over to me with 5 memory. I also promote my Gabumon to the battle area, then evolve him into a Ginkakumon, which I then evolve into Lady Devimon to trigger her effect to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. I discard Jack Raid and Sora Takenouchi and Mimi Tachikawa. And since a card was discarded from my hand with an effect, I gain a memory from Ginkakumon's inherited effect. Then I play Analog Youth, revealing 2 Gabumons and 1 Tapirmon from the top of my deck, from which I take Tapirmon to my hand and trash the Gabumons. And I pass over the turn to Stanislav with 1 memory. And it seems Stanislav still didn't draw any level 3s, so he just evolves his Greymon into a Mega Dramon and passes the turn over to Stanislav. Stanislav promotes his Gabumon, evolves the other Gabumon into Paildramon to strip the 2 sources of the bottom of my Lady Devimon, and he also gets to draw a card from Kiaramon's inherited effect. And he finishes his turn off by evolving it to Zudomon to also strip Vladislav's Ancient Troymon from his bottom 2 sources. Vladislav then hatches Pinamon, evolves it into Bakumon, which he then evolves into a Tyrannomon. Unfortunately he doesn't get his search effect in the breeding area, but he does get to draw a card. And he ends his turn by evolving the Tyrannomon into Cherrymon, giving me 1 memory, but since I have Matte I start with 3 memory. I hatched Tsunomon this time and evolve it into the Tapirmon I previously added to my hand. Then I play a Labramon to draw one card and discard one card, and since the card I discarded was Underworld's Call, I get to draw an additional card. And I also gain a memory from Ginkakumon's inherited effect. And I finish my turn by playing another Labramon for some more pump and dump action. And then Stanislav, still having drawn non-level 3s, just fires off an Atomic Blaster, wiping my 2 Labramons and Stanislav's Gabumon off the field. But Stanislav is completely unfazed and he just hatches another Kiaramon, evolves it into Glucomon, and then evolves it into a Coelamon for some more draws. And then he finishes his turn by evolving into Majiramon. Boy, Vladislav is really getting choked hard over there, but he's not worried. He just promotes his Cherrymon and evolves it into another Ancient Troymon, giving me 4 memory. I promote my Tapirmon from the raising area and attack the blue Stanislav with him, checking a 2-cost Mati Shida in the security. Which is a bummer, cause I hoped he would die so I can draw a card and pump my trash with more cards. And to top it off, Vladislav decides to suspend my Lady Devimon with his Ancient Troymon. I check my trash and I see I have exactly 10 cards in it. So I decide to evolve my Lady Devimon into Lilithmon so I can get some worth out of this turn. And I return the only 2 option cards I have in my trash to my hand. And since I didn't like how the blue Stanislav had 2 level 5s, which he could evolve into a Hexablaumon and something else the next turn, I decide to just drop a Chimeramon on the field to delete my Tapirmon and his Zudomon, passing the turn to Stanislav with 6 memory. And boy, that stun didn't cost me only my Tapirmon, but the next turn Stanislav evolves his Megadramon into Shine Greymon and proceeds to attack my Lilithmon with Piercing and Security Attack +1. If I didn't know any better, I'd think he didn't like me. And this is another charming feature of this type of game. You'll see stuff like this all the time. Focus is being shifted from one player to the other, deals being made, alliances formed, betrayals happening. It'll really test your friendship. And then Stanislav uses Plasma Stake to delete one of Vladislav's Ancient Troymons, passing the turn to Stanislav with 2 memory, but he gains an additional memory from his 2-cost Med because we have Digimon without any evolution sources. And then the thing I feared came to pass. He evolves his Majiramon into Hexablaumon, attacks me and strips Ancient Troymon from his 2 remaining sources. Because of that he gains a memory from Glucomon and draws a card from Kiaramon's inherited effect. And since all my Digimon have no evolution sources, he unsuspends because of Majiramon's inherited effect. But my man Vladislav has my back, and he suspends him with his Ancient Troymon's effect. So now I have to deal with only 1 attack instead of 2. But Stanislav still isn't done. He plays Howling Memory Boost and strips the only remaining Digimon with evolution sources of them and passes the turn to Vladislav with 2 memory. And also because of the Howling Memory Boost, Ancient Troymon can't attack or block until the end of the turn. So Vladislav just hatches a Freemon, evolves it into Palmon, then into Kabuterimon blocker for 1 cost, and finally he evolves it into Metal Tyrannomon, passing it over to me. Since I now have more than 10 cards in my trash, I decide to use 2 Jack Raids to gain 2 memory. Then I evolve my Chimeramon into Mastemon and I trigger her effect, trashing the top card of every security and bringing back a Labramon from my trash so I can draw one and discard one. Next I attack Hexablaumon with Mastemon, because he's an eyesore, and because he's the only Digimon weak enough so I can delete him with Mastemon. And now without him I can attack the red Stanislav with my Labramon, and I check a 2-cost Taikamiya. And yeah, we all forgot that I only played him this turn, so technically I couldn't attack with him. But don't worry, it'll come back to bite me in the ass later. Because the next turn, Stanislav's Shine Greymon, now boosted by that Taikamiya, can attack over my Mastamon, and since he has Piercing, he can take away my last security card. That's karma for you. And then he just plays the Memory Tamer Tai and passes the turn over to Stanislav. Stanislav hatches and evolves up to Koelamon. And then just plays a bunch of mats, passing the turn over to Vladislav. Vladislav decides to leave his Metal Tyrannomon in the breeding area and just plays a Terriermon and evolves it into the blocker Kabuterimon and passes it over to me. I evolve a Gabumon in the raising area, and then I attack the red Stanislav with my Kinkakumon, hoping it would be deleted, so I can revive the Ginkakumon Promote from my trash without having to end my turn. Unfortunately, the card in the security was a weaker Digimon, so I just end my turn by playing Tapirmon and evolving the Gabumon into a Kinkakumon. Next, Stanislav finally draws a level 3, so he starts evolving in his breeding area. Before attacking Vladislav with his Shine Greymon. Vladislav decides not to block since the Shine Greymon still has Piercing, so he checks 2 security and one of them is a Memory Tamer. Good for him! Then Stanislav evolves into his own Metal Tyrannomon and passes the turn to Stanislav. And boy, those mats are putting in some work. Just look at that memory. He evolves into a Chris Speldramon, trashing some evolution sources. And then, since there are so many Digimon without the evolution sources, he gets to play 2 Gomamons for free. And then he evolves into Azulongmon. And since the field is full of Digimon without any evolution sources, he doesn't lose any memory, he gains it instead. Oh, and he also gains one from Bluecommon, which should have triggered earlier, but we let him have it. Then he attacks Vladislav with Azulongmon with security attack +2, because we agreed that that effect only applies to the player he's attacking, and not the home field. And Vladislav suspends his 2 Gomamons with his Ancient Troymon, and blocks with Kabuterimon. And then Stanislav decides to be a dick and evolves one of his mats into Lobomon and attacks me who has no blockers so he can eliminate me from the game. Jeez, with friends like these, am I right? But because he's a dumbass, he didn't evolve one of his Gomamon into a blocker when he had the chance, so he evolves it now, but it's suspended so he can't block. He finishes his turn by playing Modoki Betamon, so that means no more memory boosts, but now everything's ready for Vladislav to enact his master plan. He moves his Metal Tyrannomon into the battle area and evolves it into Bancho Stingmon. he attacks Azulongmon with his bunch of Stingmon, and since Azulongmon has more than 12k DP, bunch of Stingmon's effect trigger, giving him 7k DP and plus 2 security attack, so Stanislav's security is completely wiped out. And then, since he deleted a level 6 or higher Digimon in battle and survived because of Metal Tyrannomon, he unsuspends. And he does the same thing to the other Stanislav, attacking his Shrine Greymon. Since he also has 12k DP, bunch of Stingmon gains another 7k DP and security attack plus 2. So with piercing, the red Stanislav's security is also completely destroyed. And since Shrine Greymon is also a level 6 Digimon, Stingmon unsuspends again because Metal Tyrannomon is not once per turn. And with that, Vladislav just attacks the Stanislavs directly with his bunch of Stingmon and Ancient Roymon, and so ending the game with him as the winner. Congratulations, Vladislav, and thank you for avenging me. And there you have it. This was what we came up with to play the game with more than just 2 players. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, bye!